Hello everyone, how you doing today? Good to be with you in this video. In this one, I want to talk about the Genesis vinyl box sets. The newest one recently came out. It's the red box, but in my vinyl collection, I have been very fortunate. I have all three Genesis vinyl box sets, and they are like the best pieces of my vinyl collection. I love to just take them out and just look at them and drool all over them, because I just think they are just absolutely awesome. So I just want to take this video to kind of just show them off a little bit. I'm not going to go over every single album because that would take forever, but I just kind of want to show them to you. So we have the green Genesis box set. There's the green. We'll talk about the blue Genesis box set. And then we'll end with the red Genesis box set that just came out recently, a few days ago. So they all look fantastic. They're really well made. I love the covers of the box sets. And we'll start the thing off with the green vinyl box set, which covers the years 1970 through 1975, and all the albums are, they kind of slip through here just to give you an idea what they look like. This is the VC. We've all seen Genesis records, so all the albums, of course, are pressed on 180 gram vinyl. Half-speed mastering is the process for this, and remixed by Nick Davis. And I've been on the Genesis fan chat rooms on the internet, and a lot of people criticize the 2008 remixes. They prefer the original album mixes. They still say they sound better. I personally like the remixes myself. They are different from the original. I just see it as an alternative way of listening to these classic Genesis songs. You know, it's just a different way to hear something you know you already love. So I like the remixes myself. I know a lot of Genesis fans want nothing to do with these remixes, but I love them myself. They are different from the originals, but you know, like I said, it's just a different way to hear songs that you know you already like. So we're going to start with this one, the 1970 through 75, and I love this hard cover that all the records fit into. It's really, really nice. I think one of the albums that really benefited from this album is this one, Nursery Crime. Nursery Crime really benefited from these remixes. As you can see, they reproduced the album artwork very nice. And they even print the vinyl labels with this Charisma Pink Scroll label. So really nice. The musical box sounds incredible on these remixes. The band sounds a lot punchier and heavier, and as far as the mix, than they did on the original albums. The bass and the drums really sound powerful and strong on these remixes. It is just so awesome to listen to. So really, really dig that. So Nursery Crime really, the whole album, not just the musical box, but the whole album really benefited from these remixes, especially the Fountain of Samasis. Just sounds amazing on these remixes. The mellotron and the drums and the bass guitar, I mean, everything just comes through so clear. Sounds great. Foxtrot did benefit as well. When you listen to Watchers of the Skies, it does benefit very well from the remixes, and of course it came with the gatefold, really cool. And this is also on the well, not the Pink Scroll, but it's the label is the Charisma label. And yeah, the film Supper's Ready really comes through well on here. That was the one that got a lot of criticism from fans. I don't think they really cared for the remix on this album and the songs I mentioned. I think a lot of fans prefer the original. but nice alternative way of listening to it. I think overall, it just brings out the drums and the bass a lot more. They don't sound so muted or in the background anymore. They're more in the forefront. Sounds really, really nice. Really, really great. One album that really benefited from remixes has to be The Lamb Lays Down on Broadway. And there's the, and again, they reproduce the album artwork and packaging. Really nice. You know, they include the original inner sleeves, such as these. So that's reproduced very nice. And this one has a custom label on it. One side being the famous Charisma label, which all West Genesis fans know very well. And then, of course, the custom label in the very back. Very similar to the UK pressing to this album. The remixes really benefited this album. Let the Lamb very much. I noticed it mostly on the song Fly in a Windshield. It just sounds more deeper, more powerful, has more punch to it, more depth. You know, the bass and the drums come in like a thunderstorm and just pound their way through the speakers. It sounds great, and it's just so refreshing to hear that on this album. The whole album kind of, it pretty much covers the whole album more or less. I mean, the song Carpet Crawlers really sounds particularly great on here as well. You can hear the piano and the voice really nice, and I love the remixes on this album. It kind of opens up the soundscape, I guess, here, that's what I'm saying. And it sounds great on my speakers. It just, it's like rediscovering the album again. And I know a lot of the hardcore fans are going to get on my case for it because they all hate the remixes so much. But especially when you hear the remixes and the surround sound, God, it's just awesome. So I mean, I think those were the biggest benefits to the remixes, was the albums I showed. I mean, of course, the whole thing sounds great, but those 3 albums in particular really benefited greatly from these remixes. So that was the Green Box, 1970 through 75. Shortly after that, this Blue Box set was released, and it's Genesis 1976 through 1982. This covers Trick of the Tail, Wind and Wuthering, and then there were 3 Duke and Abacab are the albums that are in this box set, and lovely color. Blue being one of my favorite colors, so naturally I'm gonna love the color scheme on this. Just looks so nice. And the remixes are amazing on this, absolutely amazing. The 2 records I think really sound great for these remixes are the first 2 albums in the box, which is A Trick of the Tail and Wind and Wuthering. What I like about the albums is, here's Trick of the Tail. I don't know if you can see it, but the album has this nice texture to it. The whole album cover has a nice texture to it. It feels like a piece of canvas or parchment paper or something like that. It has that look to it. And the ink that sits on here gives the ink a real rich, colorful look. So the colors kind of jump out a little bit more on this particular cover than my old ones do. And that texture just is a nice touch. I really like the way that looks. And it came with the original inner. There's the inner sleeve with the album artwork. A very nice touch as well. Really love the job they did just on the album artwork and the original packaging. Very nice. And it's on the Charisma custom labels here, so it's very nice there. And the remixes really benefited the songs on this album in a big way, especially the opening track, Dance on a Volcano. That opening song, the bass and the drums just sound so powerful when they come in, that big thick note in the very beginning of the song. It just wakes you up. You're like, whoa. It's like listening to this album for the first time again. It just makes the hair on your arms just stand up. as it did with me. It really sounded fantastic. So did Squonk and Entangled. Well, basically the whole album sounded great, but those particular songs really jumped out at me. Ripples and Los Endos. It sounds so amazing with the new mixes. It just opens the sound so much more, and you just get lost in the tune, and you get lost in the mix. You could just close your eyes and go on a great voyage, because these remixes are so well done, I think. And it's a different way of listening to the music. So big improvement there. Because the albums have this nice texture to it, the artwork on Wind and Wuthering really improved. This has always been one of my favorite Genesis album covers because it reminds me of winter. And I always love listening to Wind and Wuthering during the winter time. And I wish I could show you, because of the texture on this album cover, it makes the painting of the tree and this logo here stand out so much better than before. The album cover really looks good done this way, and you know, the back cover of the bare tree and the birds, it really looks nice with the texture, and it makes the colors stand out so much more. It's just so nice, so nice. And like Trick of the Tail, we have the original inner sleeve, very well reproduced. That's also on the Charisma label, so since I already showed you the Charisma label last record, no need to show you on this one. And this whole album benefited because I thought the original mixes were kind of thin myself. That's just my own opinion. The song One for the Vine really sounds great, so does 11th Earl of Mar. Listen to Blood on the Rooftops on these remixes. It just sounds so thick and rich. Blood on the Rooftop is one of my favorite songs on this album. And these remixes really wakes up every high, mid, and low of the song. And the vocals sound so nice on it too. It just, I've never heard them sound so good before. And because it's a brand new album, 180 gram vinyl, the vinyl is extremely quiet. I dropped the needle on it, and you hear nothing until the music kicks in. It's a very quiet record, and when the music comes in, it comes in a big way and very powerful. It's just a rush. You know, words are failing me right now to describe how wonderful it is. Another album that benefited pretty well too from the remixes was And Then There Were Three. I never did like the mix of the original album, and these remixes really improved the listening experience of this album in a big way. The opening track, Down and Out, you can hear the drums a lot better. The bass is more present. Of course, the keyboards are pretty much driving the song, but the low end is more present, especially in the song Undertow. When that big chorus kicks in, it really lifts the song more so than the original mix. And as well as Burning Rope. Burning Rope sounds incredible on these remixes, as is Deep in the Mother Lode, Many Too Many. This album really benefited from a remix. It's almost like I gave it a facelift. So really, really well done. And then I can say the same for Duke. They reproduced the artwork very nice, so the colors look so rich, vibrant. Really, really cool. Here's the gatefold. Kind of hard to make out because everything's so small, but very awesomely done. They got the custom labels on here too. So this is the custom labels from Charisma for Duke. And same thing with this one too. Back in the day, I always thought this had kind of a thin mix to it, so they they beefed up the low end, and the album really, really sounds the audio is so much more improved. It sounds incredible now. And since I've shown every record on here, I might as well show Genesis Abacab. The front cover is embossed, so all the shapes and colors have that texture to it because it's embossed, so really nice. And there's the back cover. It came with the original inner sleeve. It shows a picture of the band and credits here. So I think this one has the custom label as well. So they really did a good job of the packaging on all these albums. And the original Genesis Abacab had a great mix on it. So this one didn't benefit as much from a remixing because the original sounded so good. But the other albums I showed you definitely improved them in a big way. They almost sound like modern records now, even though these songs are so old. That's what a good remix can do. It can you can start hearing things that you never noticed before in the mixes and in the music. So, oh man, I feel so happy to have the blue box set. I mean, I love these songs to death. They are a big part of my musical growing up, I guess you could say. And to hear these remixes, making the song sound like a locomotive coming through my speakers, oh, it was worth every penny to invest in this blue box set. It just sounds incredible. All right, the next one up is the red box set. This just came out earlier this week. It is Genesis 1983 through 1998. It covers the self-titled album Genesis. Some people refer to it as Shapes or Mama, the Mama album. And also included is Invisible Touch, We Can't Dance, and Calling All Stations. Slightly thinner box set. Only 4 albums in here, but still great, still fantastic. By this time, these are the albums that were produced by Hugh Padgham and Nick Davis, both great producers and got a great studio sound. So the album and the mixes, they really didn't improve the albums all that much. Slightly, I would say there's like a slight improvement because the original record sounded so great. And here's the Shapes album. Probably not the best album cover, but what I like about this, and here's the original sleeve, how we all have seen it. Because I live in America, every time I bought this album, it was on the Atlantic label, so it's really cool to see. And they put these custom labels on it, the Charisma custom labels. So really, really nice touch there. Home by the Sea and Mama sound spectacular on these remixes. I don't know if it improved it much because they sounded pretty good on the originals as well. Because like I said, Hugh Padgham got a great sound out of the band. But it does sound pretty powerful. It is a good remix. The song, it's going to get better also. Greatly improved, as well as the song Illegal Alien. Those songs really, really benefited from the remix. The overall sound is just so much more superior. Here's Invisible Touch, and if you feel the texture, the black ink on the hand here does have a texture to it, slightly embossed, just like the original. So that was a nice touch. Good to see that they properly reproduced that. And the original inner sleeve and custom labels, just like back in the 80s, with the orange side and the green side. Very nicely done. And Tonight, and Domino and the Brazilian sound really good with these remixes. Just overall, just improve the sound overall. Especially the bass and the electronic drum sounds come through much more puncher on these remixes as compared to the original. Here's one not too many people have seen on vinyl. It is Genesis We Can't Dance. I actually have this on vinyl before I got this box set. Let me see if I can find it for you in my since I'm sitting right next to my Genesis vinyl collection, I should be able to pull it out somewhat quickly. Somewhat, like I said. There you go. Found this in the store as an import, as you can see. So I already had this on vinyl. I was really lucky. But you know, remixes are always a nice thing to have. This was a used copy with some wear on the cover, but still very nice thing to have in your collection. But the remixes do sound great, and they reproduce the inner sleeves very well and nicely. It's a double album, 2-album set here. And they have the nice custom labels like the original ones do, but these are in better shape. Like I said, the other ones had a lot of wear on them. My original copy, they had a lot of wear on them, so it was nice to get an upgrade for this record. Here's record 2, original inner sleeves, and the custom label there. Really nice. And this one benefited very well for the remixes, considering the original still sounded great. It just the whole thing just sounds better on vinyl, which is no big surprise there. But the song, for example, the songs "No Son of Mine," "Driving the Last Spike," and "Dream While You Sleep." Those songs sound spectacular on vinyl. If you could find a copy of this, and you're a big Genesis fan, you will notice those songs really are improved on vinyl. They sound so much more. They have so much warmth and depth to them as opposed to the CD versions of those songs, as well as the song "Fading Lights" when they get into the more instrumental section of that song. Just a great remix. Those songs really benefited from the remixes compared to the CD version. So Genesis Weekend Dance really sounds superior to CD. And the last one to be put on here is the last Genesis studio album, "Calling All Stations." No one's favorite here. And there's the gatefold. I've never seen this on vinyl before. I've only owned it on CD. And it's not the best of the Genesis albums. And there's the inner sleeve, the front and the back. And all the albums have this same label on it. There's the vinyl label that appears on both sides, on both records. Sides 1 and 2 and 3 contain music. Side 4 contains an etching. There's no music on side 4, it's just etched. And let me get that record out for you. There's the second record, pretty much the same artwork. And side 4 being etched. There's the etching. Hopefully you just try to get in the light where you could see that. It's just a photo of the guys looking up. Photo taken from the CD. It's about the best they look. So that's side 4, just the etching side, and of course the last side of the record here. Calling All Stations, yeah, not Genesis at their best. New singer now, Ray Wilson. Phil Collins is out of the band at this point. New drummer on here, Nick DiVirgilio, plays on some tracks. Near Z plays on the other tracks. Both are good, really good drummers. You know, there's some good ideas on here. The only 2 solid tracks I would say on this album is The Dividing Line and Not About Us, and Congo, actually. There Must Be Some Other Way is an okay song. Calling All Stations starts off pretty strong and powerful and dark, and you think it's just going to build to something epic like Mama. But unfortunately, it just never delivers that part. You think it's going to go somewhere big and it's going to deliver big, and it just never, it just sort of leaves you hanging. And it's a strange song to kick off the album. It's so dark. Like I said, some good ideas on here, but not enough of them that you could say a whole song was good. Each song kind of has a moment here and there where you say, well, that's the old Genesis coming through. But I don't know, it's just, I do like this album. When I first bought it, I was rooting for this album to work so bad. I really wanted, because I didn't want Genesis to break up, even though Phil Collins wasn't in it anymore. And I still wanted the band to succeed, so I was really behind this album and kept giving it a thumbs up in a naive way because I was just such a fan. But in the end, the truth is, it's not really that great of an album. It could have been reworked, and I remember when by the time they brought their new singer in, Ray Wilson, a lot of these songs were already written, and he sort of just had to sing what was already written, whether his voice was right for that kind of music or not. Like, this is what we wrote, now sing, kind of thing. And I think that made the album suffer. I think had they started fresh with the three of them as the band, all of them contributing as writers, they would have produced a better album. But it's still not a bad album. I mean, there's some tracks you can get rid of completely on here, like Small Talk and If That's What You Need. Those songs can go. The last track, One Man's Fool, starts off kind of slow, and the last half of it delivers, but the first half doesn't. I think they could have done some editing on it and worked a little bit more on it. So yeah, a lot of these tracks are, in my opinion, incomplete because they just, I don't know, they just had to be reworked or something. It is like they were trying really hard, but they just missed the mark. I don't think it's a terrible album, because some people really criticize them. They're really rough on this album. It's not good, but I don't think it's terrible, but it's definitely not good. I don't recommend it to anyone unless you're really, really into Genesis. But anyway, that's enough about talking about Carnal Stations. That's just my opinion on it. There's the red box set. Absolutely gorgeous. Alright, well, that's going to do it, folks. I just wanted to show off these Genesis box sets. I now have all three, and I just couldn't be any happier. Genesis, without a doubt, is my favorite band. And to have these 3 box sets in my collection, which covers their entire studio career, is the best parts of my collection. I can now stop collecting Genesis studio albums, unless they put out another box set that shows off the live records, and then they can get cash in again on me. But I'm sure they'll do that later when they need a yacht or a new Ferrari or whatever. Anyway, that's going to do it for King's Drummer. Thanks for watching this video. Leave me some comments. What's your favorite Genesis album? What's your favorite Genesis song? Have you heard the remixes? Do you like them? Do you think the originals are better? Just what's your take on this? I really would like to know, and I really would like to talk about it with some of you. Anyway, that's going to do it. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you at the next one.